We have breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. Cowboys offensive guard Zack Martin has informed the team that he plans to retire, according to NFL Network. The future Hall of Famer has spent his entire 11-year career with the Cowboys. He is a 7-time first-team All-Pro. No offensive guard has ever been named first-team All-Pro more times than Martin. He was a member of the NFL's All-2010s team and was scheduled to become a free agent this offseason. Pete Prisco had him ranked as the number 66 free agent in his top 100. Let's bring in Garrett Podell, who covers the Cowboys for us on a daily basis. Garrett, this is a guy who, Mr. Cowboy, I mean, a Hall of Fame career, he's going to get there. I don't know if it's first ballot, but it seems like it could be. What did he mean to this franchise?
Well, Chris, you kind of said it right there by calling him Mr. Cowboy. He meant everything to this franchise. When I would walk around the Dallas Cowboys locker room covering the team on the ground here in Dallas the last 2 years, I mean, pretty much any time there was ever a key kind of locker room thing going on, it was run by Zack Martin. I mean, Micah Parsons, who is probably the most vocal quote or colorful quote on this team, he would always defer to Zack Martin when talking about certain issues or things. And in terms of the on-field production, I mean, there's maybe you could make a case, no better interior offensive lineman in NFL history. When you look at what you said, the 7-time first-team All-Pro selections, tied with John Hanna and Randall McDaniel for the most ever. And then also in terms of guys who really, as the Cowboys like to say, represented the star and really just appreciated and being a Dallas Cowboy, Zack Martin would have to be up there in terms of just the pride he carried year after year, representing this team, whether they were winning and going to the playoffs or even in a year like this past one when they went 7-10.
He was expected to be a top 100 free agent if he was healthy enough. I'm guessing that some of these injury issues that he's had, one that limited to 10 games this past season, had a lot to do with this likely decision here. What do you know about how he came to this decision?
Yeah, well, the last time I had a chance to speak to Zack Martin was when it was announced he was going to have his third ankle surgery of his career and missed the end of the 2024 season. And he told me that he spent a lot of time speaking with former Cowboys Pro Bowl center Travis Frederick on the phone shortly when he made the decision to have that third ankle surgery of his career and miss the rest of the season. And Travis Frederick was another really high caliber offensive lineman for the Cowboys. And he and Martin, when they would do warm-ups, they would go through wide receiver drills, almost running routes in pregame to get loose. Those two guys were as tight as could be. And Frederick is someone who had to retire early with Guillain-Barré syndrome in the late 2010s, early 2020s. And so the fact that Martin picked up the phone and called Frederick isn't surprising because they're close friends, but it kind of gave you a sense of that retirement was very seriously on his mind. If Frederick was someone who he had an extensive conversation into the night about when he had that surgery, which is something he told me. He said they had a really extensive conversation.
It's the start of a new era for the Cowboys. Brian Schottenheimer taking over. I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get this franchise to the level that they want to be at. What kind of a hole, though, is Martin going to leave in the middle of that line?
I mean, it's an absolutely massive hole because it's where they've been trying to run the ball in Dallas over the last few years, and it really hasn't worked for them at that spot really since the 2022 season when Tony Pollard was one of the league leaders in yards per touch from scrimmage. And the last couple years, it kind of really been a struggle. Pollard, he broke over 1,000 yards for them in 2023, but it was a lot less efficient when he was coming off the fibula injury he suffered in the playoffs against the 49ers the prior season. And then this year, Rico Dowdle did come on strong the back half of the season to break the 1,000-yard barrier mark, but they were really unable to get the run game going when Dak Prescott was in there healthy, and it wasn't as much of a priority for this offense. So I would say it's a massive hole, not only in that line on the field, but also in this locker room for a Cowboys team that's kind of in transition because they have a laundry list of free agents this offseason that's now not including Martin. But there's going to be a significant turnover both with the new coaching staff coming in and the type of players who will be in the locker room in 2025.
Yeah, you mentioned the free agents, Garrett, and there's certainly a lot that the Cowboys are going to have to do, and he wasn't the only big-name free agent that the Cowboys have. Garrett Podell with us here on CBS Sports HQ. The Cowboys with 3 of the top 50 free agents, according to Pete Prisco. DeMarcus Lawrence, one of the others. Cowboys, new era, but it almost seems more like a rebuild than anything at this point, especially when you consider what the Eagles are doing and what the Commanders are on their way to doing with Jaden Daniels as one of the best quarterbacks in the league and a young team on the rise.